Hi, I'm Karen Russell, and I'm with Kristen Carmela, and we're at the Yoga NoHo Center in North Hollywood. We're going to go over Trikonasana, triangle pose. Triangle pose is excellent, intense stretch of the back of the legs, the hamstrings. It's something that I personally don't do in a flow. It's definitely a posture that you want to be warmed up. You don't just flop into triangle pose. And we'll go over those key points so that you can master this posture and open up the back of the legs a lot and strengthen the whole legs too. So we're going to start with a nice wide posture like Prasarita, just to kind of, this is another one of those postures, just like when we went over Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Sometimes you're going to have to play with your stance. Usually when you start your yoga practice, you usually start a little too short, not wide enough because, maybe a little timid. So play with it. So her hands on her hips right now, which is great. She's going to spin the left foot parallel. Yeah. And check with the mat. Is the foot parallel in line with the mat? And then the back toes are slightly going to come in too. Remember, the slight little turn in of the back foot with all of these postures will help the inner rotation of the thigh. It's really important because we have a tendency to push the thigh out, okay? So she's rooting down through the four corners of the feet. Now, her hip area. So this is one of those postures where it's not squaring the hips. So the back hip might be turned in a little, but we want to make sure our hips are level. So she's going to level the hips, making sure, right? Nice, straight and strong. So it's really important that the legs are straight and strong. Now there's a little trick. You can always lift the toes up, and that will ignite the knees, the area around the knees, and then slowly put the toes down, but feel that energy of the energy growing up from the knees. So if you have kind of weak knees, I suggest don't go down as far, but keep the legs straight, right? Instead of going all the way down and bending the knees. So this way you'll get there. You'll get there slowly. Option to keep the back hand on the hip for right now. She's going to inhale, reach her left arm straight out and reach way out of the side ribs. Way. Yep, way out. Even more. See how long she can get, like Parsvakonasana, like Utthita Parsvakonasana, side angle. And then she starts to place the left hand. Maybe it's on the hip, maybe it's on the thigh. Maybe she can go lower, right? Just like Utthita Parsvakonasana, side angle pose, you don't want to be bent over. There's a saying, you have this feeling of being between two planes of glass. Well, that's just making sure that you're nice in alignment and that you're not hunched over, right? So for right now, she needs to draw the left hip back a little bit. Yes, open up the heart more. Same thing, rooting down through the feet. She's hugging front heel to back arch, like you're squeezing a ball, lifting the pelvic floor, the perineum, drawing the navel in, drawing the flesh of the buttocks down to the heel, drawing the shoulders away from the ears, and then like a triangle, bottom hand, wrist, bottom shoulder, stacking with top shoulder and fingers. Her legs are strong, so if you root down to lift up, this will energize your knees and your hamstrings. If you have knee injuries, I'd rather you not go down as far. So if she had a knee injury, she might bring her hand on her hip and just come up a little way. So let's show that. And even come up. Yeah, that's fine. Or you can do this against the wall, right? So inhale and come right on up. Root through the front heel and back heel and up. And then exhale, relax. This is an intense hamstring, which is the muscles in the back of the leg stretch. So this is not something you jump into right away. So what if you want to go a little deeper, but you can't get there? Let's use the block. So you would place the block either in front or behind. And you want to make sure the block isn't too far away from the middle of the calf. So make sure the block is, yes, yeah, because you have to remember you're stacking. That block is like a part of your hand, so it can't be way out there. Has to be right in line with the wrist and the shoulder, the second shoulder up, so that you're getting these angles, these triangles. So this way she can go a little deeper, right? And she can get more side body long. So she's checking everything in, back toes slightly in a little bit. Yep. She's gonna reach her side body long. Inhale, reach, 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 reach. And then she's gonna start going down and just seeing how that feels for her. As she finds the block, yep. Now push down, she already did the adjustment, right? She drew the navel in, fleshed the buttocks down. She starts to open up the heart, right? One line of energy from the bottom hand to the wrist, to the shoulder, to the top hand. Now, Kristen, does that feel a little better, right? So she feels a little longer, a little bit more side body long, and that's what we want to get to. Plus, she can keep her knees straight and root down. Now, her focus, her dristi, right? If you feel like you're a person that doesn't have the balance, you can look down. You don't have to look up, so look down. That might feel better. You can play sometimes with that final focus point, that dristi point, or you start to look up. You can bring that top arm on your hip still if you need the balance, right? There's always options. To come up, inhale, press down through both heels and rise up. You're gonna need some core strength. And then exhale, relax. So you can really relax now for a second. So Trikonasana triangle pose. Let's just recap. You wanna make sure that you do this when your body's a little warmed up. It's an intense stretch in the knees and the back of the legs, right? But it's also very therapeutic for the knees and the back of the legs. Take it slow. If you feel like you need more stability, then make sure that you don't go down so far. You can keep your hand on your hip. You can use a block, right? You can go to the wall and do it at the wall. All of these things are a way of building your practice stronger, right? You don't become stronger by repeating something out of alignment. So remember that, and it's fun. And that little trick too. If you ever want to ignite your knees, remember, you could just lift the toes up. Yep. And then your knees get ignited, and you can use that for your standing postures. Also, use your 3 platforms, your bandhas, and your dristi. And that is Trikonasana triangle pose.